Okay, this one's your typical electric furnace. Looks like kind of a rat's nest. A lot of them did, even from the factory. I wanted you to look close at this, though. There's a number of things wrong with this furnace, and I thought we should take a look close. Because when you look at one of these furnaces, you've got to start looking at the connections where the wires connect onto terminals. Okay, let's start with the sequencer here. I want you to look at this terminal here and this terminal here. And I'll get you some close-ups there. Look at this terminal here. It's all black. This one is overheating. It's overheating because the connection's not real good. Connections have to be absolutely perfect on these things or they will heat. And once they heat, they will begin discoloring the terminals, which puts corrosion on them, and then that heats more. And eventually it burns it completely off. Now if you look close, there's a thermostat wire right here. And it's kind of stuck in behind this thing, and notice it's getting heated up. This would be really interesting because what would happen here, if this overheats, it's going to melt this, which is already partially melted, and it would make contact with the low voltage power. Now this is a fairly old electric furnace and the transformer is not grounded, so there would not be a short or anything like that. This could very easily put 120 volts to your thermostat if this was a short here. So bad idea put them there. And the terminals themselves, I'll show you another one here that looks pretty bad. Okay, this one we're looking at here, I'm going to pull it off. You can see it better. This one's really getting close. Doesn't look like the crimp was done very good on this thing. One of the things this is going to do is this is going to overheat this terminal here, in addition to overheating the wire, which is going to transfer to inside of this sequencer, and it's liable to burn up the sequencer in here. So if you came along to this thing and this was burned and you had discoloration here, you probably better replace that sequencer. You know, this one here, I would probably replace the sequencer. It doesn't look too bad. Yeah, it's still got some shine on it and stuff, but I don't know. That's been really hot. So those are a couple of things. Now here I got one other thing I want you to look at. Notice this part right here. Now that's a limit switch. Look what's happening there. That whole thing is burned up. It's about ready to fall off. In fact, if I pull on it very hard, it will. Okay, that one probably, because the wire itself does not look too bad. It's a little hard to see it there, but this, you can see where this got burned inside here. Probably what was happening with this thing is, for whatever reason, this element was limiting out. Maybe plug filter, which is a little odd because I would expect, see there's three, oh there's another one. Yeah, okay, we'll get back to that in a minute. There's three elements. I would expect the top one to go. That's the one that's farthest away from the fan and would be the warmest, but it does appear that's what happened, is this limit switch, which is not, they're not really heavily made. If this thing popped off a lot of times, then what it's going to do is it's going to, one time when it pops back, it's not going to make good connection and it's going to overheat just like this one did. And this one is virtually just burned to pieces and about ready to fall off. Now let me go up and show you the thing I just saw. Okay. This limit switch is doing the same thing. You see that little bubble right there? This thing has probably had filter problems or something like that where nobody changed the filter. And so these were popping off, And this one's overheating because that's the first sign of the overheat, is that bubble on the plastic. So both of those limits need to be replaced. So there's a few things wrong with this. They're not obvious when you first look at it. You got to start looking close at the terminals. So you end up replacing wires. You end up replacing components. You may want to change out this sequencer because these terminals have been so hot. The two limit switches you may want to change out. Probably wouldn't even hurt to change the third one out because it's probably been popping a lot too. So that's a typical kind of burned up electric furnace. Wire terminals, overheat from limits, all these are problems on these. One other place to look is these terminals here on the breakers. And I would open this up and I would check the wiring as it comes into the breakers and be sure these screws up here are tight. Okay, that's just kind of a look at a burned up electric furnace.